Welcome to the Vermilion podcast, a free audio library of business strategies, creative inspiration, and industry knowledge for actors, filmmakers, writers, and anyone looking to activate their creative potential. I'm Misha Calvert, a writer-director who helps artists build the careers that they dream of. I really hope that this podcast inspires you in some way. Thanks for tuning in. I have an incredibly exciting guest today with us, Nicole Ansari-Cox. Nicole, my friend, my inspiration. It's so great to have you here.
You are an inspiration, Misha. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much. And you're calling from London, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And you're an actor, you're a producer, you're a director.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that I'm leaving off that list?
I dabble in writing. I won't yet call myself a writer. Once I have something that I really am proud of, I will do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think many people are going to know you for your work as an actor. And I'm just wondering, so you have your main home in London, is that right?
Well, we're dividing our time between London and New York. Literally, like we're working here, we're working there. Our kids are there. Brian's kids from his first marriage are here. So it's, and now that our kids are grown up and actors themselves and in college, and it's easier to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically living my dream life of
Yeah.
hopping back and forth. And for anyone unaware, that's Brian Cox, who also is an actor. You may know him from Succession and, probably every Shakespeare at this point. So you have many, many films coming out in the next year, including this year. Can you tell us,
Yeah.
first of all, how are you feeling? Are you overwhelmed? Are you excited? How are you feeling?
I'm a little overwhelmed because right now I'm working on putting together four different shows for the Women's Festival here in London at the Playground Theatre, which starts, I think, the 8th of March and goes the whole of March. And I'm directing one play that I'm also writing and curating, I would say, and three plays I'm in. And I'm also casting and in a big, it's more than a reading, like a performance art thing that we're doing on the 29th of March at the Judson Memorial Church in New York about the Giselle Pellicot trial.
Oh my God.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so that is something that I'm a little bit overwhelmed because of the sheer volume of stuff. And last year was kind of overwhelming too. I had the great good fortune to get back into the West End. I hadn't been in like 18 years. The first time I was there with Brian, both times, was with Tom Stoppart's Rock and Roll. And last year we did The Score by Oliver Cotton, directed by Trevor Nunn as well. And that is going to Washington, to the Shakespeare Theater in September this year. So we did that for the first few months of the year. And, like most actors, I was like, I'm never going to work again. Nothing is going to happen. And then I have a new agent in London for the UK work because there's such a sheer amount of work here in the UK. And so I did three movies and four and one TV show. So the movies, the first one I think was the TV for Channel 4. They are changing the title, but it's about the polluting of the Dover River.
Wow.
Of the great, the big factories have been dumping sewage into that river for many years and killed people with it. So that's and David Thewlis is the main guy, and I played the girlfriend. Martin Campbell. He directed 2 Bond movies. He's like big in the thriller genre, and it's a thriller with Samuel L. Jackson and Eva Green. I play an Irish police nun, which was so fun and so incredible. And Ewan Mackin is my partner in it, my partner in crime. He's an incredible Irish actor who had to play American and kept slipping back into Irish when I was speaking to him. It was really funny. I don't know, a week before I came back, ready for like Thanksgiving and all of that, I got cast in a movie with Nicole Scherzinger. So I did that just before Christmas. So it was like back to back to back to back after thinking I'll never work again. And I think I've never done so many films in in a year. And a West End show. It was like packed. The year was packed. And the year before was packed because we did Brian directed his first feature film called Glenrothan with Alan Cumming and himself, Shirley Henderson, and Alexandra Shipp, the only American in everybody was Scottish, most everybody. I have a little cameo in it, but I executive produced it, and I'm also the second unit director. So the year before was, all about Glenrothan, basically. And we did the show, The Score, in Bath before we took it to the West End. So it's coming out in April here in the UK. We're super excited about it. So yeah, it's been like a packed few years, the last 3 years, ever since my son went to college, Yeah.
I'm wondering, first of all, everyone I think listening to this is jealous of the amount of work that you have going on. You're kind of redefining what booked and busy means.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love about you is that you seem to, at least from the outside, create roles that you would want to play, like roles that really mean something and projects that really mean something.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Like, how do you manifest not only the quantity, but the quality of bookings that you've just described?
Well, I would say a lot of it is, well, maybe luck is not the right word. I think my engagement with the themes, it is said that what you focus on is what you will live. So I focus on the things that inspire me and the things that outrage me, the things that make me, want to stand up and protest, the things that, so I guess, when you focus on the things that engage you in an emotional, psychological, intellectual way, I think the things will come to you because you will meet the people who are like-minded or are inspirations for you, people that you look up to, and that you learn from. And I can only explain it in that way. I think that's what has been happening, is that I have less focused on crumps, like, oh, please let me have this small part in this, small indie, let me
No
work.
desperation.
No desperation. Like I basically said, you know what, if something doesn't light me up in some way, I don't need to do it. I'm fortunate enough, I don't need to pay the rent with it. We're doing well. So I think it is unfair to say, oh, everybody can do that. That's no. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do in order to pay the rent. And many years in my life, I just did whatever came because that's what paid the next rent, But now I'm in a fortunate position where I can choose. And I'm also, as I'm getting older, I'm also thinking about my life. I'm thinking, like, one of the reasons why I'm doing so many readings of the, stage readings of the plays at the Women's Festival is because these are all plays that have come to me through the writer or director. Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do a play about Madame Mozart, Constanze Mozart? Do you want to do a play about Hedy Lamarr? Do you want to play about, Edward Munch? Like, these are all themes that interest me. But it's fortunate that I can actually do stage readings to see it with an audience, so I can see, do I want to spend 3 months of my life with that?
Yeah.
Because none of these are big pay jobs. They are all artistically driven projects that and I'm no longer willing at this age to spend a vast amount of my life to projects that I'm okay with, or that I'm like, yeah, I'm acting no matter what,
Yeah.
that is, and luckily I've had great projects and great work that I can feel like I don't have to do catch up. Like, my work speaks for itself at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that those are lessons that I think people can take into their career as an artist at any age or at any stage of development. Just to recap, no desperation or low desperation.
Yeah.
Low insecurity. You don't got to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Follow your inspiration and your passion or your outrage. Same kind of idea. Follow that, because that's going to lead you to the projects that really fulfill you. And time is not infinite, so really value your time.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, when you come into a room, like, auditions used to freak me out.
Tell me more.
Like, I used to have such stage fright and such audition fright. Am I doing this right? What do they want? I was always thinking outside of me in terms of how do they view me? And now I go in and see, do I want to work with these people? I'm auditioning them as much as they are auditioning me. They might not know that, but like, I give you an example of where I think that was a pivotal moment where I saw it in action. So last year, my Berlin agent, Caprice, sent me an audition for a play called Women Who Blow on Knots by Ece Temelkuran. And it's about the Arab Spring, and it's about this really magical older woman, much older than me, actually, who takes these girls onto a journey about, like, discovering the goddess, and I mean, a really feminist play, really, really incredible role, like a role of a lifetime, right? I'd love to do the movie of that. Anyway, I got the offer after Glenrothen, after we filmed Glenrothen. And I was shooting a movie in Georgia called Hotel Tehran with Liam Neeson. And I said, no, I have no time to do this. And they said, they really would like to see you. You have a very short rehearsal time, but, maybe, like, see if you can do this. I was stepping in they had 2 other actresses before. For whatever reason, it didn't work out, right? And I read the play and I was so fired up. I was like, there is no way I cannot do this, because it speaks about everything that I love, the goddess, and like, female empowerment and politics and Arab Spring. I mean, it was really, really cool play. And so I came in, and the director and the artistic director and the writer of the play were in the room. And I came in and I started to talk about the play, and I completely forgot that I was there for an audition, because I knew that I was the right person. I knew this woman. I knew how to play her, and I had no doubt in my mind that they would want me. And so after about 45 minutes of talking, and we're talking, they said, excuse me, Nicole, but do you mind reading a bit? And I was completely shocked because I was so in the inspiration of the story that I'd forgot. And I went, of course, I'm here for an audition. I'm so sorry. And and I did it. And I have to say, I blew them away because I knew exactly who this character was. So sometimes I think when we know, and sometimes it doesn't work out because you don't look like the daughter in the movie, although you were great or whatever it is. There are so many moving parts of getting cast. But like in this instance, I thought, I'm auditioning them because I have to do this in a really short time. But I'm so inspired about this that I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
That
That reminds me of the Bad Bunny halftime show. I don't know if you caught it.
Oh my God.
I mean,
wow.
Just wow. Just wow.
Wow.
But that
wow.
moment when he's the camera is leading him, and he's got the football, and he's like, if I'm here at the Super Bowl today, it's because, and he like lights up. He's like, I never stop believing in myself. And you should too.
That's what he said. Well, Spanish. I didn't understand what he said, but I still loved it.
That's what he said. You should not undervalue yourself. You have more value than you know.
That's right.
Like right at the camera. It was amazing.
Beautiful. Oh, I actually wanted to ask one of my Spanish-speaking friends to translate, and I actually got inspired to learn Spanish not just from there, but because in the States, so many people speak Spanish, and I want to help those kids who are being locked up and taken away from their families. I want to be helpful, and it's better if you know the language. Yeah.
Incredible, and also as he pointed out, there's a whole other America south of us that they speak Spanish there. So that's beautiful. I want to talk about briefly your cameo on Succession.
Yes.
And I love that show. I mean, I thought it was like peak television for me.
Yeah.
But what was it like being on that show? They had a lot of mystery shrouding it, a lot of budget. What was that like? And then I want to talk also about what it was like to work with Brian on that project, but also like you worked with him a lot. So let's first talk about Succession and what that was like.
Yeah. So it's really interesting how that came together because it was in the 4th or 5th year of filming and it was going towards the end. And I asked if I could shadow Mark Mylod. So, I met with Mark and he's like, yeah, you can shadow me. So I shadowed him for about 2 months, which was an incredible experience. Going from the first reading to, how do you put a show like that together? And being in the room when Jesse and he were discussing a scene and changing things last minute, and being in the room while that happened, it was so exciting. And so there was one meeting in which they were talking about Sally Ann. And Sally Ann is a character who came up just verbally about the ex that almost broke the marriage to the first wife, was Sally Ann. And the kids are talking about her in, I think, episode 2 of season 2. And they're talking about her and they're describing her. And I'm in the fucking room and they're describing me, basically. And I'm like, I should say something. And I was so scared because I'm there as a director, as a shadow for a director, not as an actor.
Whew.
But I made a kind of comment and I said, well, that's me, folks. And they looked at me and I can't remember who, but somebody said, well, I mean, that will look like nepotism. We can't really do that. And I said, well, at least give me the same chance as everybody else. I'm happy to audition for it. So
because Brian was Logan. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. And so my agent said, hey, I got a call, would you audition for Sally Ann? And so I did. Literally, like, I arrived at home at 9 p.m. I put the camera there, lights there, and, just did it. And I'm sure it wasn't that great, but, I was right for it. And I also knew, as a filmmaker, it's a kind of Easter egg that is a cool thing. Like, did you know?
Yeah, nice trivia fact.
So it's a nice trivia fact, and it's towards the end of this, and I've been supporting Brian for all these 5 years, making the show, which was, it takes a village to make that happen. And so that's how it happened. But the funny thing was, so we're on the set, and of course, we're filming in this gigantic church for
the
5
funeral.
days, the funeral.
Yeah.
For 5 days, and they have 5 cameras like rotating around for 5 days, basically. So I kept saying, I kept being in the video village, or standing next to Mark, and he's like, no, you can't. You have to be in front of the camera. So for 5 days, I'm like, fuck, I want to see how he's directing such a massive show, because it was like epic. And also we had the problem of people and including the background artists were not supposed to know who died because nobody was allowed to spill the beans. So it was really cool. Somebody came up with it. Brian insisted to come to the funeral so that the paparazzis, and they immediately outside would see him go in. So it was like, who died? And then on the actual folder that you had, it was Hewan. It was his brother who died. So all the background artists had his, and I think it was just like 10 of us had Brian.
Wow, was that
So-
surreal holding a funeral program for your own husband?
Oh my God, it was a little bit shocking. Yeah. That was tough. For the first few hours, I was like, this is so fucking depressing. And then I was like, you know what? It's a dress rehearsal, you know? So yeah, and then I just waved it away.
That's so cool. And okay, I have to ask, were there any other actors on Succession that you bonded with?
Yeah, we bonded a lot with Sarah, with Nick, with Jay Smith Cameron, Zoe, and who else? Natalie. Yeah, mostly the girls. And Jihei is a good friend of mine now. Yeah.
My absolute favorite was Matthew McFadden as Tom.
Oh, and Matthew, of course, Matthew, and I mean Brian is great friends with Matthew, and of course Alan Rock is like his great buddy. Yeah.
For anyone listening, I invite you to play the game of who on Succession are you? Which character are you, like your shadow self or your spirit animal? Because they're just the characters are just so rotten and complicated and fun and nasty. So I always love the game whenever it comes up in conversation. I always like to say, which one are you? Deep down, don't lie. But I've always said that I'm a Logan, for what it's worth.
You're Logan.
And you're a Sally Ann, apparently.
I'm Sally Ann, but maybe I would be Snooky. Yeah, the daughter.
Shiv.
Yeah, I maybe would be Shiv, not quite as skilled to be,
She tried,
yeah.
God bless her.
Yeah, she tried. She really tried, but she talked too much. And, like I'm getting better at it, but yeah. Including that audition that I did where I just talked and forgot that I was auditioning.
You've worked on so many projects with Brian, your husband.
Yeah.
What's that like to be so collaborative with him creatively? And does it ever, I imagine most of the time it goes well, clearly from your track record, but does it ever, it's like, I need a break from this guy for a while. Too much time with Brian.
No, it's funny. We talk about that quite a bit with friends or people who say, "Oh my God, you're working together. Well, hopefully you'll still be married next year." And with us, it's the opposite. The more we work together, the better it gets.
Wow.
Because we have very similar likes and dislikes of what we like. We're very similar in that way. We're very similar in the way that we work when we're on stage. And I wouldn't say how we prepare, but like we just vibe really well. And I fell in love with this art first, and we met through that. I was going to go to Berlin and do this short film with this German actor, Werner Dann. Werner Dann was his name. And I said, well, like in a couple of months, I have to go to Berlin and do this film. And he's like, oh, I love Berlin. Oh, I hope to be working in Berlin sometime. And I said, do you want to do it? Because, this is not cast yet. And he's like, let me look at it. And he's like, oh, that's a nice story. Oh, this is an interesting artist. David Lamelas is his name, an Argentinian artist. And so we went to Berlin and had a little Berlin holiday and did this film, which was really cool. And then I had a show that I co-wrote. It's about Romy Schneider. It was a one-woman show I did in Vienna. I think actually that might have been the first thing we did. And I was in rehearsals, and we had met in New York, then lived briefly in London, and then I had to do this show in Vienna. And he came to visit me, and he came to the rehearsal room, and I had just done a recording with the best actor of that theater. He was supposed to play Visconti, the filmmaker Visconti. And the scene was, and this is documented, Visconti did Richard III with Alain Delon and Romy Schneider. And Romy played Lady Anne, obviously. And she was very inexperienced as a theater actress. And he laid into her and insulted her, like, what are you doing, Romy? You don't know what you're doing. You can't act for toss, like really like this. And when I listened to what we had recorded, I was like, it sounds like an actor. He sounds like an actor. He doesn't sound like actually somebody who's having an, conversation. And so Brian came and he's like, hey, why are you so depressed? What's happening? And I said, yeah, listen to this. And he immediately understood what I meant,
Yeah.
And I said, you could do this better, and you don't even speak German. And I said, here, can you do this phonetically? And he did it.
Wow.
And I said, can you do this with an Italian accent? Like I gave him the Italian accent, and he did it, and I recorded him, and he became the voice of Visconti in my show.
Wow, that's insane. So he replaced an actor in a language he didn't speak with another accent on top of it.
Yeah.
Off a cold read.
Yeah.
Damn, that's how good he is.
That's how good he is. Yeah.
I think about that. I think about how beautiful that you fell in love with his talent first. And I think, like, could I ever marry somebody who I didn't deeply respect on a professional level? I don't know that I could.
I'm 100% know that I couldn't. I couldn't even go to bed with them.
Oh, I love those standards.
No, it's like, yeah, if the person isn't, I don't know, I like art and integrity and politics. It's the whole person, It's not just the body and the looks and the charm, I find people who don't have a backbone quite ugly. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not just coming together in body, in bed. It's like a
Yeah,
spiritual,
yeah.
chemical union. I want everyone to know where to find you on social media. So can you drop
Hmm.
your handles and where to find you?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram. I'm at Nicole dash Ansari, Ansari. On Facebook, I mean, I never use Facebook, so it's Nicole Ansari, you know. I don't hide my name or who I am. Um, and I think that's pretty much it.
Glenn Rothen. So is that out in theaters soon?
Yeah, we're opening in the UK on the 17th of April. Yeah, we premiered at TIFF. We don't have American distribution yet. Um, I don't know. Hopefully, it will come. Um, yeah, my theory is that that streamers are going, oh, it's Alan coming, and he's playing straight. No, he's the biggest, queen on the planet, and with traders and his Hollywood star now, like it's
Yeah.
all based on this persona, and he's playing a very straight, Scots American man in this. And Brian is not playing the evil, but charming, powerful billionaire. He's playing a Scottish, really humble man.
Mm.
So it's very against the type
Mhm.
of the things that made them both famous. And I do feel that the hesitation of taking this on is like those two people are not doing what they're famous for and what we want from them,
I would love
you
to see
know?
Alan Cumming play straight. I think he's
Yeah. Oh,
hot as
he's
heck.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, he's bi anyway, so it's not like he's always camp, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then everyone go and see Glenn Rothman when it's in theaters. When it will come to the US, I'm sure it's going to get picked up somewhere or on streamers or something. But I'm so curious what it was like to premiere at Toronto and how, did you just submit or did you have your agent submit it? Or like, as someone who's trying to get into TIFF myself,
Yeah.
I'm just really
Yeah.
curious if you could speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, we submitted it, and of course, it always helps when you have somebody in the team who already has a relationship. So, one of our producers, Christine Zhang, um, she already had a relationship and we actually met at TIFF at the premiere of another film that Brian was in, that she was a producer in. So which film was that? I'm trying to. It was with Kate Beckinsale, a really good movie. Um, yeah, I got to get back to you on that. Um, and so, yeah, it got in on its own merit, but there was a relationship before. And I think what's most important in that regard is building relationships. That is more important than anything else. And networking, like, I don't like the word networking. Yes, you are working the net and you're spreading your net, but I see it more as relationship building. It's relationship building because, like, every meeting, think about it not in the short term of what can I get out of this meeting now, but how, like, who is this person? Do I want to work with them? um what can I bring to the table? What can they bring to the table? Can we find a way to continue that conversation?
Yeah.
Is there something? And then you're
Yeah.
meeting them at another film festival and at another film
Yeah.
festival. And that's how trust is built
Yes.
um, in the long term, not in the short term.
Can the garden grow
Yeah,
versus what can I exploit?
exactly. Exactly, exactly. The same as what we're doing with Mother Earth.
Yeah.
We're exploiting, raping, and pillaging
Yeah.
Mother Earth, as if, you know, as if there was no tomorrow. Well, there won't be a tomorrow if we continue that.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of thinking about building on it, nurturing the ground,
Yeah.
giving back, you know, and also always, what can I give them? What can I bring to the table?
That's
How
it.
can I inspire them? You know?
I wish
Yeah.
you so much luck with the Pellicoat project. Like,
Oh
wow,
my
thank
God.
you. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. The Pellico trial, I think, is going to make some waves. It's a mix of activists and actors. So we have Chris Smalls, you know, the Amazon Union leader. Then we have Neil Katyal, you know, the lawyer, which is unbelievable. And we have Ellen Barkin.
So cool. And for everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, this is Giselle Pellicoat, who's a French woman who realized that her husband of many decades had been drugging her and then sexually abusing her in her sleep, along with many, many other men that he would invite over to do the same. So it's a huge, really disturbing trial.
Yeah, it was last year, and all the men got convicted. They could only find 50. There were over 70 men who abused her. And everything was documented and neatly tucked away and labeled with rape and the different, I mean, subjugations. And all of the men were convicted last year in the trial. What really moved the needle is that she decided to make this a public trial. She decided to stand there and face her rapists, the people who abused her, including her husband, and confront them. And this is a very like soft-spoken woman. She's not like this, you know. Not that it matters, but she looked at all the footage as well. And she wanted to make sure that the blame and the focus goes
and the shame
from, and the shame, not the blame, the shame goes from the victim to the perpetrator.
Yeah.
And she changed the laws in about rape in France.
Wow.
With that trial. So this woman is a real heroine, and her book is coming out on the 17th of February in English.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that incredible work. And I love your career and I love your personality. But one of the things that I maybe respect the most is how gracefully you walk the line between art and activism. And I hope that it is inspiring to the people listening that they too can do the same.
Yeah, it's a fine line you have to walk. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I should just shut up and just post about all the work I'm doing rather than posting about Iran and posting about Gaza and Somalia. And, you know, there are so many battles. China, I mean, there's so much going on there. Yeah, but I cannot not do something. Yeah.
I think you make a beautiful example for people.
Oh, thank you so much.
Nicole, it's been such an incredible pleasure to chat with you today. I'm so grateful for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a joy to talk to you.
Thank you. And everyone go watch Glenn Rothen when it is out in theaters. And if you haven't already, please check out Sally Ann in the funeral scene from Succession. And keep an eye out for Nicole's other work coming up.
The Vermilion podcast is sponsored by Vermilion, a home for artists. We offer classes, coaching, and community for creatives and innovators in the arts. If you're ready to find your voice and build the life of your dreams, we're here to support you every step of the way. Check out clubvermilion.com and schedule a free call today.